that RP, Bedlam, and Supernova all ready to go, which are just vector shredders at this stage of the game. So difficult situation that WINSTRIKE finds themselves in. Now they finally go back to the tier 1 tower. The thing that kicked this thing all off a couple of minutes ago. Again in position. There's moving a tiny. I'm a toss link in. Another vessel here is going to be onto Cheshire as Duracho actually jumping on in. The blade malactive hit by first round. He'll be slowed by a bit. Who's that vessel on? It is going to be onto Mira. Once again, great itemization here.
So we're seeing that we were talking about earlier, right? Not the fastest push by WINSTRIKE, but very consistent push once the DK is up, once the Dragon Form rather is up. So good by WINSTRIKE, taking towers, kind of sneakily dominating over their side of the map. They really have taken over now the raiding jungle. Very important for them as Team Spirit swaps jungles. The difference being that if you look at Team Spirit's wards in the map, they're using resources to fight the raiding jungle to try and take some kills off WINSTRIKE, whereas WINSTRIKE has completely, you can argue defensive to a degree vision, right? Just securing that farm, securing those areas, making sure you really have that jungle. So Team Spirit gets pretty much a free dire jungle without having to waste any wards there. Could be an advantage later on in the game, we'll see, as they haven't really lost any map to farm.
They could Roche. We have a DD rune here with an Orb of Corrosion on the PA, and we're gonna go for it. Gonna rally the troops and look for an early Roche. This, I mean, WINSTRIKE could be completely, they'll miss the bus on this, because they're not gonna be expecting that DD rune. Very quickly, I just wanted to point out what Collapse is going for. He's going straight into these Guardian Greaves, and I think it's going to be mostly for Arctic Burn, because you can only apply one Arctic Burn debuff per pass without the Aghanim Scepter, and being able to move freely here at your full move speed, trying to get in position, especially without a Blink Dagger for these RPs, is going to be of the utmost importance here for Collapse. As down goes Roshan number 1, Yatoro making very keen use of that DD rune, now has Aegis number 1.
Okay, they might find Duracho here. They haven't terrorized. They haven't done damage too much. They actually did flame mill before. I just killed a PA. No, there's the Sunbreak to finish up Duracho. The ultimate counter to anything that's good to be cold embraced is the Sunbreak.
Oh, nice spike, he just hit it with a little bit of the sun. And down it goes. Rebel now in trouble, trying to Tokyo. We'll blink on onto him. Yatoro as well will follow through. There's the BKB. We have a curse. We're going to use it onto the PA, but Toronto Tokyo missing most of these attacks is not going to do a whole lot here to his ally, despite having a respectable attack speed with the Hand of Midas. Now going back into the Echo Saber stun. Onto Mira, though, as they are battling over the wards. Mira will win out eventually, be warding the Observer. Avalanche is not going to fight. Oh, we cancel the TP. Not like Pantomime was going to make it out anyway, but it was going to be
okay, they might find Duracho here. They haven't terrorized. They haven't that was a given. I think the kill on Spectre is still the more important one here. As Team Spirit is managing to find these pickoffs, we haven't seen really too much usage out of that Doom just yet. Because these ganks are difficult when Team Spirit, as per usual, bunches up. They force the 5-on-5. Doom is much better, at least in the early game, suited for pickoffs. Yes, they give you an advantage in these team fights, but you just don't have as great AoE catch as Team Spirit does. Then you question, like, what do I use my Doom on? Do I cancel the Tiny? Okay, that stops some of the damage, but then PA's still alive. Do I stop the Magnus? That's some of the team fight, but Phoenix and Tiny's still alive. Team Spirit loves doing this. Always having like a secondary option for whatever role their hero
middle
fills.
tower is under attack.
Yep, they've got that backup counter, or like a backup issue for them, right? There's always like a
Dire's middle tower isn't going to last long. Dire have fortified their structures.
Yep, there's always a but. Yeah, I guess we'll see if WINSTRIKE can take advantage of this. The smokes they can force out here. Pretty strong against Spirit. They should be able to finish off they can finish off the support relatively easily with the amount of catch they have this time, but not if they're the ones being initiated upon. Especially now with the Winter Wyvern. Some help from Yamage, but Tokyo is coming in. There's a toss available. Toss him back. Oh no, just toss. DPA on top, Fisher Cat. That's gonna guarantee the kill on the Terrorize. Yamage does manage the TP, finding a way between the trees.
We've Doom Collapse in the meantime, though, and he is going to fall. Of course, unable to escape, unable to activate those Guardian Greaves. It's gonna make this pretty worthwhile for WINSTRIKE, especially because make that Lion escape.
So this is actually something we saw a lot, or I saw a lot at least in the Chinese TPC, which is sometimes teams will force a fight completely away from where the 5-on-5 is happening, even if they sacrifice heroes for it, just so they can break apart the enemy team. Because they know the enemy team doesn't want to go and TP all 5 heroes. That's a huge waste of resource. TP 3-4, then you know the rest of them are alone, and you get a pick-off with your superior pick-off. It's a good way to deal with these teams that refuse to leave each other. Just holding hands the whole. And with heroes like Spectre, heroes like DK, I feel like it's a pretty good lineup to do this on. So, good play by WINSTRIKE. The question is, how much more can they afford to do this? We'll see.
That's a good point. We'll see, actually, as WINSTRIKE are going to smoke up. We still have this Aegis, and now this Aghanim Shard that you know is actually there's the jump onto at least the Phoenix. Okay, the break, and look at the damage already into the DK. Out comes the Supernova. This time he's going to be properly focused and taken down immediately with much damage, though. Cut down by Yatoro. As Dyrachyo having Haunted in, still looking for these backliner supports. Phantom Limit will buy himself a bit of extra time here in the cold embrace, but Yatoro will kill him nonetheless, as out comes at least the Winter's Curse. Not going to do much there, only catching the illusions of Collapse, and that last kill for Yatoro underneath the tier 1 tower is very easy for Daddy. Yet again here for the side of WINSTRIKE, fighting into an Aegis with about a minute left into it. Bold call from them.
Yeah, especially with the Doom unavailable.
Dire's bottom tower needs some help.
If you have the Doom available, there's a justification that you feel that you can at least take everyone down and just go on the PA like you someone did there. With the Doom unavailable, there was just no need. You didn't have to force that fight. The timing was just not great for WINSTRIKE. And now they've just lost a huge advantage they managed to slowly creep up with. Yatoro is completely online at this point, still within power, of course. He's beating the Doom despite having Devour and Midas. Tiny has never left these top net worth chart thanks to his Midas. Now it's looking scary for WINSTRIKE.
Tier 2 tower for free means that actually all of the outer towers here for WINSTRIKE have already been removed. And on top of that, we've got some really nice aggressive wards. Watching for any possible rotations in the lane, into the mid, and then of course the Roshan ward, which is about to start. We'll get another one here placed in just a second as our Aegis is reclaimed. Toronto Tokyo even has actually bought his own shard here, so I suppose we might just end up giving it either to the Willow or to our Phoenix here for second Roshan. That is if Team Spirit are able to secure the Roche. WINSTRIKE already on the prowl. They've smoked up this time with Doom at the ready, just waiting on the cooldown for Haunt. Unfortunately, this smoke with them will be fruitless, and they'll just left to farm in their own.
Yeah, I think it's... So there's 2 points to be made to the smoke, right? On one hand, it's really bad that you're wasting a smoke when you really get those pickoffs. But on the other hand, maybe it's best to just continually use them to at least know that you're putting pressure on the map. Because the timing was not too off with the smoke. It's just that smoke was limited in its scope. If you could only catch someone alone and kill them, that was your only option. So... we'll see how this smoke for Team Spirit works out instead. Good scam though.
To be fair, I don't think WINSTRIKE are really... They're not very keen to do much more than that, are they, at this stage? They now recognize, hey, we need to start a fight off with a 5v4, or at least guarantee a Doom onto a good target, and then go from there. The BKB found himself a war stomp free, but Toronto Tokyo looking to try and burst with the Spectre, terrorize the Golden Brace, still keeping her healers up and here. Oh, but the jump in, the break, it's too much damage. Winter's Curse doesn't catch a single thing, but at least it'll catch Yatoro a Doom. As caught now by the RP, it's just going to be Cheshire Cat. There's the Haunts now. They're trying to at least finally finish up Yatoro. Dyrachyo still continuing to chase. The blink forward is going to finally get this kill for Cheshire Cat, and they've even caught Toronto Tokyo here. With the between Rebel and Yatoro able to find that kill. Or sorry, Yamich make that 2 kills then for the Lion. We did end up buying back here on the Phoenix just to get back into that fight.
Yeah, we mentioned how or I mentioned rather, how the WINSTRIKE lineup is really good at breaking these lines. So the toss is just not sufficient. That's why I suggested the fork stuff earlier. That extra bit of save. Maybe Glimmer is also a consideration, though I think at this late, something to make sure that when the PA gets through, which is going to be always WINSTRIKE's objective, you have a way of making sure she doesn't die. So, Team Spirit, I think, just experienced that, where if WINSTRIKE has other ultimates, no matter how well positioned you are, they're going to break you. The Phantom Knife is really solid. Of course, you did force a couple buybacks, but not going to carry it again. There's the counter initiation from Pantomim. Okay, that's stunned from the Curse Scrambles. Not the Doom completely. Then looking to go fishing. Collapse using the skewer instead to just gets close to Rabel. And the Spirit Vessel did a bit of damage. No Chocolates just yet. And instead, it's just going to be the Garden Greaves to get away from this.
Yamich is going to be heading to that Aeon Disc for himself. Cheshire Cat really desperately trying to get up this Halberd because this PA is a bit of a monster if she's not doomed. Even going into the Basher here. for our Phantom Assassin. Just looking to be able to, you know, steel herself up and really take go toe-to-toe with just about anyone, that's even including, of course, the Spectre. Should have cut it down to that. They got the tools to do it, given how strong this Fan of Knives is.
Radiant's bottom tower
And only
got
gets stronger as the
problems.
game progresses. I mean, Spectre will get, I guess, more farm, but you're never going to be able to match the empower farming speed of a P. And the more your map is minimized, the harder it is for WINSTRIKE to be able to recover on the small turn. It's tough. I don't know. Team Spirit gonna be able to go for Roshan now. WINSTRIKE just needs to be able to use this pick up potential, get rid of Yatoro in the fights. I don't think the match between Spectre and Yatoro has ever been a favor to Spectre.
Well, especially least of all because of this shard.
Until hyper late.
Oh, they won't be able to contest the throw shot. I think they're fast. They've got wards for it, but unwilling to fight into the team fight here of Team Spirit. Second shard looks like it's going to be given to Miposhka. Okay, it was just Collapse walking into the pit playing Courier. So now we've got this extra Sunray in Supernova. I shouldn't say extra Sunray. You can Sunray in Supernova, and it slows for 12%. So just more percentage-based damage, something to defend the egg actively, and of course something to have through these tank cores that WINSTRIKE are fielding is much appreciated. Fights.
WINSTRIKE needs to take another fight like that again, but they need to avoid the Aegis because, of course, their target still being Yatoro. So maybe now you just go to full creep cutting mode. Ignore fights as much as you can. Definitely not going to the high ground like this. You're losing kind of easily. Not the easiest target to kill off though. In fact, Collapse, he went in alone and got punished for it. They might still go to the engagement fight. They go for the Phoenix next. Fan of Knives, annoying the Spectre a bit, but she didn't get through. That's only her first life. Miposhka, however, loses only life. As Hard Tokyo looking for the rest of the supports. Yamich all saved there by the Cold Embrace for how long? And Toro just waiting for the Stippling Dagger. There goes Miroslav to save what Tiny could not do. They've managed to finish off the Lion. Team Spirit, that was not their best initiation, but they still made it work.
They did. So it's going to be a 2 for 2. Unfortunately, they can't look to fight any longer because the Phoenix did buy back earlier after WINSTRIKE were able to find a couple successful pickoffs in the mid lane. And so he's going to be dead for quite a long time. Collapse dying early on, though, makes these fights really, really awkward for you to have. Because then we lose one of the butts, right? Before the butt was, oh, we can all hit Supernova, but we have to be careful for this RP counter creation. As soon as that's no longer on the field, the team fights become way easier for WINSTRIKE, and they're able to execute what is a very high damage draft if they're allowed to actually close the gap. Neon Disc actually for Rabel, by the way, on the Doom. Don't know if I've seen before, to be honest.
It's just an extension, I think a pretty natural one of the I need to get my Doom off build, right? Which has been the build that Dooms have been playing for eons. You know, you use the... You pick up whatever you need so you can get the Doom off on the right target, which in this case, yay. And as long as you accomplish that, you'll be happy. Since you don't deal an insane amount of damage anyway, I think Neon Disc is like the nerfs or whatever happens when Neon Disc is 5 because it still stomps off. Infernal Blade's still annoying. You have a lot of DPS, so it's still 2 seconds, whatever. Some pick up in this game. I think you're not going to do enough given a certain point though. And the H is going to be really annoying.
Dire's no fortified.
I think that certain point will come when this Lincoln Sphere is completed as well for Collapse.
Are those cracks in Dire's top
Very
tower?
quickly making the round towards that.
tower.
Yatoro trying to finish off. Oh, Yatoro, by the way, has got his own Lincoln Sphere, so we might have double Lincolns at some stage.
Dire's top tower is a fault.
Here for the Phoenix to make sure he doesn't get taken off the way he was earlier. Stuns onto Yatoro, but it's not going to save your top lane of barracks. They will be deleted. And Stuart's back up to very quickly lick their minor wounds here as Yatoro's going to be healed to full. Ribble showing in the mid lane. Okay, good blink out because Yatoro was ready to jump on in.
Toro. As long as he has the Aegis, he knows he's kind of free here. That's why he WINSTRIKE decided not to engage. I think it's the right choice to just let the racks go at this point. You have to play super pick. It sucks though, because now you're the pressure of like, you're one step in the lower bracket essentially. So you don't have the option of last game where you're like, oh, we go for the third game, no big deal, the second game. This time, that makes it much harder to execute as precisely as you need to, given the position. Scotty complete Vector. It's gonna help you out. I mean, it's good for the carry fighting for the most part. It's good to deal with a tiny to a degree. Gives you a bit more stats for survivability. Not a big point of inflection, I'd say, in this game, though. The Rocha still needs more farm to fight this. That smoke is completely cancelled. There's a Blink Ins. Stopping the Earth Spike with a kill dog battle, and that's your counter initiation gone. You have to buy back immediately. WINSTRIKE appropriately acknowledge how important the Winter Wyvern is for the.
Yeah, it's crucial. I mean, it is always nice to have a Wyvern versus Azzy carries, because she'll just shred the rest of her team. Even if you don't crit on them, it's still plenty of damage now with all the stats that she's rocking. But Team Spirit, they're going to look actually to snipe a kill down bottom onto the Spectre, who is trying to sneak away. Aegis is reclaimed. We've just used Spectral Dagger, but we've got another one here shortly. That scan is not going to find anyone. There's one from Yatoro. He's not Mana Knives against Shooter. Blade Mail active. Man Style. They try to escape. They're using everything here, but Sriracha, he's been called out and killed. No chance for him to escape, even using that Supernova just to make sure they could find that kill. And now Toronto Tokyo, he's found the people who are looking to retreat. He will be stunned up in return, but the rest of his team quickly making haste towards his position. Beckham trying to get off a good Winter's Curse here. Unfortunately, he's been sniffed out. There goes the Andis, and there goes Cheshire Cat immediately bursted through. RP now just to lock down the Doom as they've dispatched up the Winter Wyvern on the high ground. Bravel 1 HP, gets up a War Stomp, but he's not going any further. He will fall. 4 dead, 3 without dieback here as Team Spirit look to push up back towards high ground and already are dropping the voice lines.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Spectre for 70 seconds. I think Team Spirit might be able to finish this game. There's no mana on Spectre, so it's so difficult to attack. And it's gonna be a 2-0 in favor of Spirit. Pretty domination, not gonna lie.
Dire's middle tower.
I don't know. Both games, WINSTRIKE didn't. I mean, first game is so hard to judge. The second game, it certainly felt like WINSTRIKE couldn't execute as well. And a couple of really good team fights, which showed what their draft could do. I feel like this draft was much more capable than the last one, that's for sure. But you only had maybe 1 or 2 instances of draft working properly. You lost control of the map pretty early.